This is nice work. It's new, isn't it?
You know the trouble with an adventurous life, son? It can end before it gets started. I might teach you how to handle a sword, and then someone will shoot you with a crossbow.
Now, for the maiden bloodletting. Surely your father never would have imagined it would be your blood. Such miserable luck. To die by the sword you helped forge.
Hello everyone, my name is Coca-Cola and welcome to Get Hype, the video series where I talk about games I'm looking forward to and why I look forward to them. So yeah, this is kind of a new series I'm going to do because mostly because I miss talking about games. For those of you who do not know, at least I tried to do some opinion-based videos on games, like first impressions and such, but unfortunately I don't really have a lot of time for those videos, since that requires playing at least part of the game, having some gameplay, and also make sure that I had the time to sit down and talk in a microphone and also edit the video and such. But I know I might try doing that again, but right now I'm doing this little thing instead. Well, I have no idea how long this video is gonna be. Right now it could be 20 minutes, it could be 30, 40, 50, an hour. I have absolutely no idea. I just hope it doesn't go that far. Anyway, I kind of miss spouting opinions on things. Although I'm about to get that done with the video game book review series, which I promised to do. I apologize that it's quite late. It was supposed to be out at the end of January, but unfortunately I haven't had much time writing the script, but at least I have started on the script, so that's always something. Anyway, let's get to the actual topic of the video, because I'm really looking forward to Kingdom Come Deliverance. You may have heard of it, but you may also haven't heard of it, because it's not a mainstream game per se. It was initially kickstarted, and it's a RPG set in the Middle Ages, specifically in Bohemia, I believe, which I believe was part of the Holy Roman Empire or something like that. Not the Great Roman Empire that everyone knows and such, more like the one that kind of survived into the Middle Ages, but you don't really see a lot from that because they weren't as mighty around the time, since we're talking like the 1400s or something like that. Although I talk about Kingdom Come Deliverance, but you may have noticed in the background already that the gameplay footage is from The Witcher 3, and you may wonder, why is that? Well, the reason why I have a completely game in the background is because it's a lot easier for me and safer, I suppose, to use footage that I captured from games rather than trailers and such. I don't really know how that works, to be quite honest. But since this is just a hobby, I don't really care about there being like proper footage from the game. I'm just having something that is, well, that I consider somewhat relevant. And the closest thing to Kingdom Come that I could think of that I also had footage of, well, that's The Witcher 3. Anyway, as I said, Kingdom Come Deliverance is set in the 13 or 1400 Bohemia during the Middle Ages or Dark Ages, depending on whether you want to call that. And that is exactly why I'm interested in. Like, that was the initial pitch that I heard back in 2014, I believe. The Kickstarter was. I'm not 100% certain. It might have been 2013, but I'm pretty sure, because I actually backed that Kickstarter back in the day, and I'm pretty sure I did it in 2014. And I did it for a simple reason. I am a huge history buff. I really love history, and well, I love a lot, a lot of different history, but the Middle Ages is actually one of my favorite periods of history, which may surprise some because, like, oh, I mean, it just the Dark Ages, it just this interim period between the antique Greek and Roman Empire, and then later the Renaissance era. But honestly, I think the Middle Ages is looked down upon and forgotten for some weird reason, because it actually has a lot of interesting stuff happening in this time of period. Although I might be slightly biased because I'm also a huge sucker for fantasy, and fantasy and, well, the Middle Ages kind of resemble each other. And to be quite honest, I don't know whether I like fantasy because I like the Middle Ages, or if it's the reverse. Like, I basically don't know which one is the egg and which one is the hen. It's kind of like that. But yeah, I'm a huge history buff, and I was like, oh my god, like, there are loads of historical games set in the Middle Age period. However, pretty much all of them are strategy games, which I don't really play a lot of, even though I do like them. I'm just generally a console player, so unfortunately I don't get to play a lot of strategy games. So the idea of like an RPG game similar to the Elder Scrolls, but set in the real world, like basically dungeons and no dragons as the tagline for this game, is like, that really interested me, because it I can't talk. It's like this game that I really like, as in Oblivion and Skyrim, but set in an environment that hasn't really been done before in these kinds of games. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's releasing in next Tuesday. I'm pretty sure it's Tuesday because that's the 13th. So it's a day before Valentine's Day, and it has been a long wait. Like, as I said, like the Kickstarter back in 2014. It might have been 2013, and now it's like 4 or 5 years later, and the game is actually coming out. I hardly can't believe it. It looks really good from all the trailers and such, and I'm hugely anticipating it. I mean, the reason for my interest is like basically the same, because I'm trying to think of successful Kickstarter stories, and that is regarding games, and I honestly can't think of any. I can only think of failures like Mighty Number 9, which is a shame, because in theory kickstarting a game should be... Oh no, wait, I just came up with one. Pillars of Eternity. I believe that was kickstarted anyway. Never mind all I just said about lack of Kickstarter successes. Although they are few and far between, so it's definitely gonna be interesting to see whether this one succeeds. It looks really interesting, but I do have some concerns, mostly regarding how polished this game is gonna be, because I could see this game easily being quite buggy, because that's kind of par for the course with these types of games. I mean, if you played any Elder Scrolls games, they're like a complete bug fest, especially at launch when the patches haven't been released. It's completely ridiculous. So I'm hoping it's quite polished, and yeah, I think, I don't know if it's a worry, but the thing with this game, it's not just set in the Middle Ages. It's actually trying to portray the Middle Ages as realistically as possible. So from my understanding, it's gonna be quite hard, and there's a lot of complicated things you can do with that game. Combat system looks somewhat complicated, and I have actually no idea how that is going to work in consoles. So that will be interesting to see as well, since I'm getting the PlayStation 4 version. So it does seem like there's going to be a lot of complicated systems behind that. I don't know to what extent, hence why I'm not giving a lot of details on that, since I'm not 100% sure myself, to be quite honest. And on one hand, I'm kind of like, yes, that's great. I like having complicated games. On the other hand, I also feel if it's too complicated, so I'm basically babysitting the character, that's not really fun either. So I guess that's my two primary concerns. But I mean, overall, I'm mostly positive for this game. It looks really interesting, and I sincerely hope the developers manage to deliver, because it's been quite some time since I played a good RPG last time, actually, come to think of it. I'm kind of struggling to come up with anything else to say. I mean, the graphics looks really good for that game. And I'm especially looking forward to being immersed into that beautiful world of middle-aged Bohemia and be like, this is as close as I can get to be an actual peasant in the Middle Ages. Which probably would be better than being an actual peasant in the Middle Ages, because I would imagine that's not really quite fun with diseases and plague and bad dudes possibly showing up and maybe like robbing you or maybe killing you. I don't know. I don't think living in the Middle Ages was actually any fun, but it sure looks like it's gonna be fun exploring that theme in a video game. Oh yeah, one thing I'm also really hyped about is the voice actors. Well, really is one voice actor. I have no idea who the rest of the voice actors are, but I know Brian Blessed actually has a role in this. You may not be familiar with him. I kind of associate him with like medieval movies and shows. Like he was in the first season of Blackadder, where he played the king, and then he was in a short scene in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I may be wrong on the title, but it's the one with Kevin Costner as Robin Hood, and I absolutely love his voice, and it's gonna be great hearing that in a game like that. But yeah, I feel I'm kind of struggling to come up with more things to say, and I'm kind of stretching it as it is, it sort of feels like. So yeah, bit of a casual video, I suppose, but I think it's a good contrast compared to the usual content. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I would really appreciate it if you press the like button, and maybe check out my channel and possibly subscribe if you like what you see. And please share in the comment section down below whether you are looking forward to this game as well, and why you are looking forward to it, or maybe why you're not looking forward to it. That's also worth bearing in mind. Maybe some people aren't really interested in it, and that's fair enough, because we're all different beings and we like different things. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.